This is Akashvani Vijayawada. In this special broadcast, now we bring you a discussion on the importance and journey of Goods and Services Tax (GST) on the occasion of GST Day. The participants are Sri Sujit Malik Garu IRS, Commissioner Central GST, Guntur Commissionerate, and Rahul Sai Gurish from Regional News Unit, Akashvani Vijayawada. A warm welcome to all our listeners. Today on the occasion of GST Day, we celebrate the historic reform that transformed India's indirect tax system, the Goods and Services Tax implemented on July 1st, 2017. GST brought together the entire nation under the motto of One Nation, One Tax, simplifying the tax structure, improving transparency and boosting economic growth. To help us understand the journey, impact and future of GST, we are honored to have with us a very special guest, Sri Sujit Malik Garu IRS, Commissioner, Central GST, Guntur Commissionerate. Sri Sujit Malik Garu is a distinguished officer of the Indian Revenue Service 2007 batch. Over the years, he has served in various key positions across the country, from handling customs operations at Air Cargo Complex, Kolkata, to serving as Deputy Director in the Director General of Central Excise Intelligence (DGCEI) and contributing significantly to the computerization of land customs stations at international borders with Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. A tech-savvy and forward-looking officer, he also holds a postgraduate diploma in cyber law and cyber forensics recognized by the Old Customs Organization as an accredited expert in tackling illegal wildlife trade. Currently as Commissioner of Central GST in Guntur, he continues to contribute significantly to the implementation and strengthening of GST reforms. So without any further delay, let's begin this insightful conversation and understand how GST is shaping the nation's economy. Sir, welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, firstly, can you explain the significance of GST Day and why it is celebrated on every year July 1st?
We celebrate GST Day on 1st of July every year. Prior to GST coming into effect, indirect tax system in India was fragmented. We had multiple taxes which is administered by the center and also the states. The center used to administer taxes like central excise duty, service tax, different surcharges and cesses, and the states also used to administer like VAT, entertainment tax, and surcharges, cesses. So this multiplicity of taxes led to complexity of compliance, and this was proving a hindrance to the growth of the nation. So it was decided that the GST is the need of the hour, and this is how, after much effort, due to the backing of our elected leaders and also everyone involved in this, GST came into being in July 1st, 2017.
Sir, what was the major objective behind the implementation of the Goods and Services Tax in 2017?
The major factor was this multiplicity of taxes, which led to complexity in compliances. Each tax has its own compliance structure. This pain was felt by the businessmen and the industry. The biggest problem with the earlier system was the tax on taxes, which led to the cascading of taxes, which led to increase in prices. This ultimately led to Indian goods becoming uncompetitive on the export market. To simplify the taxation structure, GST came into being. The major objective behind implementation of GST was the simplification of taxation structure, allowing of seamless input tax credit, elimination of cascading of taxes.
Sir, can you explain the structure of GST, that what are the types and how do they function?
India operates a dual GST model. This is a unique structure all over the world, where the center and the state government both concurrently levy tax on the same transaction. This design reflects our federal structure. For example, we have CGST, Central GST, SGST, State GST, IGST, Integrated GST, and UTGST. Now, I'll give you example, two transactions. Transaction within a state and transaction across states. Suppose a dealer in Guntur wants to sell something to someone in, say, Vijayawada. Then the tax would be like, it will have two components, CGST and SGST, Central GST and State GST. Suppose CGST is X, then SGST also will be X. So, for example, in this intrastate transaction, the taxpayer would be administered either by the center or either by the state. So, one authority will collect both the things, SGST and CGST. And this tax is distributed by GSTN, our backend system, among the center and the states. Now, suppose there is one more transaction which is happening from between, say, Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra. In this case, we have IGST. This IGST is collected by the center. As per some formula, it is distributed between the center and the states. GST is a destination-based tax. Now, similarly, we got UTGST. This is a GST which is levied in union territories by the center.
Sir, over the past few years, what major reforms or improvements have been brought into the GST system?
If you see the journey of GST from 2017 to till now, the first and foremost is the rationalization of GST rates. Most of the essential commodities have slowly been brought to lower tax rates. We have this e-way bill system, e-invoicing system. For smaller traders, businessmen, we have this QRMP system, will quarterly return, monthly payment system. Because for them, the ease of compliance should be there because they're smaller taxpayers. So they have the option of filing returns every quarter, not every month.
Sir, how does the CGST department ensure coordination with the SGST authorities for the smooth implementation?
Effective cooperation and coordination between the central and the state authorities is the cornerstone of the success of GST. So apex level, we have GST Council, which decides on the policy matters regarding GST. It has as its member the Union Finance Minister and also the Finance Minister of the states. This is the apex body which decides on all GST related matters. At the local level, in every state, we have this coordination committee in which we have representative from the states and the center. They meet regularly to sort out the issues at a local level. And also we have something like called authority of advance rulings, in which we have representative from both the center and the states, where any taxpayer would like to know about his classification or maybe the tax rates, any doubts he wants to have regarding his taxability, he can get clarification from authority of advance rulings. These are all the formal methods by which we have regular coordination between the center and the states.
Sir, in your view, what are the most significant benefits of GST for traders, industries, and the common public?
I'll start with traders, industries, and the businessmen. The most significant benefit of GST, the first and foremost, is easier compliance. Earlier, they had to comply with requirement of various taxes, both under center and both under the states. Now it is a single comprehensive tax which has subsumed this indirect taxes under center and also the states. So single GST tax, that's why the compliance is easier. This has led to seamless claiming of input tax credit. This has reduced the transit times, and all this has benefited the traders and businessmen. It has led to lowering of prices for the consumers. That's the biggest benefit consumers get. GST has made India like one nation, one tax, one market. So the goods which are available all across India have a uniform price. The consumer knows the price of a good which is X in one state will also be X in any other state. The price is also uniform.
So can you share some success statistics or milestones achieved under your commissionerate?
When GST started in 2017, the average cash collection in GST of this commissionerate was around 400 crore per month. Now it has slowly gone on to 600 crore per month. That time the taxpayer base was around say 25,000. Now we are administering a tax base of around 75,000 by Guntur Commissionerate. Of the target which was given to us during those times, because everybody was new, the taxpayers, the officers, trade, and the CAs, advocates, everybody, we could only achieve around 83-84% of the tax target during those times. Now we are able to achieve nearly 100%. So just last year we have achieved around 96% of the target which was given to us. Every year we have been having these outreach programs to educate the trade industry. Just a few days back we organized a pre-GST celebration outreach program for the taxpayers.
Sir, could you elaborate how technology such as e-invoicing, e-way billing, and online return filing has transformed the tax administration under the GST?
I'll start with online return filing. Earlier, during the pre-GST era, long queues outside the tax offices were a common sight. Because of the manual filing of GST returns, what would mostly happen is the records would get lost, returns will not be available, which led to frequent disputes and difficulty in reconciliation. But now those things are a thing of the past. Because of the online return filing in GST, which now we have this monthly return filing, quarterly return filing, annual return filing. Because of this online return filing, any taxpayer can file returns anywhere in India. The benefit is that compliance has increased, the efficiency has increased, complexities have come down. There is lesser chance of disputes. There is no more like records getting lost. So all this has benefited the trade because it has increased the efficiency, less disputes. All records are available. One benefit of this online return filing is that slowly it has like income tax, we have this auto population of data from one register to another. So this helps in cutting out the manual entries. So the data is mostly accurate. So this is the benefit of online return filing. Coming to this e-way bills, during prior to GST, you would have seen these check gates across state borders, district borders, outside major towns. Now in GST, you don't see those things. What has happened? Earlier, there was 100% checks of trucks, vehicles carrying goods on the check post, at the check gates. Now in GST, we have transitioned to a system of trust-based system. So now what happens? So instead of checking 100%, what we have done, we have the system of e-way bills. So any trader, a businessman sending goods, he has to enter all these details, the vehicles and the consignment, everything, and these are all uploaded in the system. Any officer wants to have a random check, periodical checking, they can verify the details of the e-way bill from the system and also what the person is carrying. So this has made compliance easier and less taxing because we don't have any 100% checks. So transit times are reduced and it has led to faster turnaround times, and the business has also benefited from this. Now e-invoicing. E-invoicing is one of the latest developments where above a certain threshold, the businessman, the business, the traders, they have to issue e-invoice instead of manual invoice. This has led to greater compliance. We can track the goods, consignments, and also lesser disputes. E-invoicing helps the government also track the transactions in a better way.
So, what are the key challenges faced by taxpayers or the department in the GST implementation? So, how they have been addressed?
In the initial days when GST came into being, it's a new tax. The taxpayers were new. The taxpayers which were earlier under the central government, they are used to their own way of working. The same with the taxpayers under the state government, and the officers, the state government officers, the central government officers, they had their own way of working. Now, GST was totally new, even for the tax practitioners, the advocates and the CAs. In the initial days, there were system glitches also. All these difficulties proved to be big challenge for the department, as also the taxpayers and also the tax consultants. Slowly, the system was upgraded. The passage of time, the officers were given trainings, hands-on experience. Slowly, the skill level of the officers also increased, and taxpayers and the tax practitioners, they also got used to the working with GST. So over a period of time, all the bottlenecks, all the hindrances have been smoothened over. Now we don't see much of any difficulty, many disputes, and things are mostly okay. And the feedback of the taxpayers or everybody, the officers and tax practitioners, was taken into account by the GST Council, which is the apex policy making body, having the Union Finance Minister and the State Finance Ministers, and also the coordination committee meeting at the local level, which happens in every state. Everybody has worked hard to remove these hindrances, challenges faced by everyone, and that's how slowly GST system, which was having some glitches in the beginning, has become smooth over a period of time.
Sir, as we all know that both the central and state governments are increasingly focusing on the development of the MSME sector. So, what steps have been taken to ease the compliance burden for small taxpayers and also for the MSME sectors?
The government has taken few steps for these smaller taxpayers. First, I'll discuss the composition scheme. Composition scheme is a very simple and easy scheme for the smaller taxpayers. The smaller taxpayers can opt for this, and instead of doing the GST formalities, they can pay GST at a fixed rate of turnover. This scheme is available for taxpayers up to a certain threshold. The other scheme for the smaller taxpayers is the QRMP scheme. It is the quarterly return with monthly payment. It's a scheme to simplify the compliance for the smaller taxpayers. Under this scheme, taxpayers can opt for filing of quarterly returns while they can pay the taxes on a monthly basis. And the return filings have been simplified for the small businessmen and MSMEs.
Sir, coming to the future developments, so what are the future developments or enhancements can we expect in the GST framework?
Future developments like now e-invoicing is mandatory for business having 5 crore turnover. Maybe in the future we'll have e-invoicing for everyone. And probably rather than having checks, maybe in the future we'll have AI and ML for fraud detection, for targeted selection of the mischief makers. GST returns, already much has happened over the last few years. Probably GST returns will be further simplified. Just like income tax, we have this filing ITR returns. GST returns will be maybe auto-populated, very less amount of manual entry to be done by the person who is filing returns. These are the few things which will happen in the future.
Sir, before winding up the interview, what message would you like to convey to taxpayers on the occasion of GST Day?
We, CGST Guntur Commissionerate, are here to help the genuine taxpayers. We have GST help desks in our headquarters and also in all our divisions. Any genuine taxpayer, any person having any difficulty, any clarification he wants to have, he can approach our offices. Our offices are there to help them. At the end, I would like to tell, let us promote compliant businesses, let us promote GST compliance and be a part of the nation building.
So thank you so much, sir, for joining us today and sharing such such valuable insights about the goods and services tax system.
Thank you.
You were listening to a discussion on the importance and journey of goods and services tax (GST) on the occasion of GST Day. The participants were Sri Sujit Malik Garu IRS, Commissioner, Central GST, Guntur Commissionerate, and Raul Sai Gurish from Regional News Unit, Akashvani Vijayawada. This program is produced and presented by the Regional News Unit of Akashvani Vijayawada.